Have you ever noticed how the very things we worry about, the anxieties we harbor, or the fears that grip us seem to materialize in our lives with uncanny precision? It's a paradox many experience. Despite our conscious desires, the shadow of our fears often becomes our lived reality. This isn't coincidence. It's because fear is an incredibly powerful, attractive field. In essence, fear is ignorant faith, faith in reverse. It possesses the same potent capability as conscious faith, but instead, it draws precisely the reality you desperately wish to avoid. Throughout this discussion, we will explore why it doesn't even matter if you strive to be a good person, practice spiritual disciplines, or engage in positive affirmations. So long as you have not fundamentally understood, transformed, and conquered fear, you risk manifesting the very realities you don't want. This isn't a judgment, it's an unveiling of a core universal principle. We'll explore exactly how to break free from this powerful, often unconscious, energetic trap. A critical mistake often made is perceiving reality solely through the human lens. This perspective, while intuitive, inherently confines awareness within the third-dimensional realm. This realm is often characterized as the realm of illusion. An illusion, by its very definition, is something that is not what it seems to be, effectively, a trap. When your perception is limited to this human, third-dimensional viewpoint, your progress in consciously materializing your desired reality can become ensnared by these illusions. For example, when facing a significant career decision, the human lens might focus solely on potential financial losses, intense competition, or past failures. This narrow perspective, constrained by perceived limitations of time, resources, or personal inadequacy, can lead to overwhelming anxiety. The individual, though talented, becomes trapped by the illusion of scarcity or insufficiency, creating that very reality. To outsmart this, it's essential to transcend the human lens and begin to perceive reality through the lens of the universe. This means elevating your awareness above the illusions that the third-dimensional reality presents. Fear is one of the most potent of these illusions. By shifting your perspective, you begin to operate from a higher level of consciousness, less susceptible to the traps that ensnare those limited to a purely human viewpoint. On an evolutionary level, fear was undeniably useful. It is precisely what ensured our ancestors' survival, triggering the essential fight-or-flight response necessary to evade predators or immediate dangers. From a psychological standpoint, fear is a primal, hardwired mechanism designed for self-preservation. However, when you transcend mere survival and step into the deliberate act of materializing your desired reality, which is arguably the ultimate aim of any true spiritual or conscious practice, fear transforms from a protector into a saboteur. As often stated, spirituality without the ability to control your reality is merely vanity. It becomes a theoretical pursuit without tangible impact on your lived experience. The aim isn't simply to live life by default, reacting to circumstances. The aim is to live life by design, consciously shaping your experiences. The only way to achieve this is by transcending the default mode of survival, which is deeply rooted in fear. As long as you remain caught in the grip of fear, it will continue to disrupt your attempts at conscious creation, preventing you from truly designing your life. Fear is the clearest indication that an individual is caught within a specific third-dimensional illusion, polarity. This manifests from having bought into a deeply ingrained and dangerous lie, the idea of two fundamental powers existing in the universe. This pervasive belief system posits a cosmic duality, often conceptualized as good and evil, God and the devil, or opposing forces perpetually at war. Whether consciously recognized or not, this belief in inherent universal adversity is the fundamental source of adherence to fear, and it's precisely why fear then engineers the worst possible scenarios into your reality. The very concept of fearing something implies an anticipation of things going wrong, or going left. This premise is fundamentally born out of the idea of good versus bad, or God versus the devil. However, this foundational idea is in itself an illusion. The mistake lies in believing that things can inherently go wrong, that there is an opposing force working against your well-being. This belief stems from a failure to transcend polarity, which is a core illusion of the third dimension. To materialize your desired reality effectively, you must rise above this dualistic perception. Within the deepest esoteric understandings, only one power truly exists. Many religious and spiritual systems present the idea of a devil or an opposing force to a benevolent God. However, when examined through a higher, non-dualistic lens, this premise dissolves, as echoed in ancient texts such as Romans 13:1, which states, "God is the only authority throughout the world and throughout the universe. There is fundamentally only one authority, one power, one source." The idea of a separate, opposing force has been a pervasive concept, leading many to believe there is something external to truly fear. Consider the concept of God not as an anthropomorphized figure, but as infinite intelligence or the absolute, the boundless, all-encompassing consciousness. Any attempt to define or confine this infinite intelligence within finite human constructs ultimately limits our understanding of it. A God defined is a God confined. If this infinite intelligence is truly infinite, it cannot be confined by limitations such as opposition. Polarity, fundamentally, is the concept of duality, the splitting of things into two opposing energetic pairs: masculine, feminine, happy, sad, rich, poor, negative, positive, light, dark, good, bad, yin, yang. These are the energetic pairs of opposites that define our third-dimensional experience. However, if infinite intelligence is above illusion, and polarity is an illusion, then infinite intelligence is necessarily above polarity. This means it is not confined to the idea of being split into two. Therefore, it is metaphysically impossible for the one true power to have an opposite. The idea of an opposing devil, in a traditional sense, therefore, does not exist in this higher understanding. The only things that possess opposites are those constrained by the limitations of the third-dimensional realm. Since infinite intelligence exists beyond these confines, it is not subject to having an opposite. The deep-seated belief in an inherent adversity in the universe, an external force that desires things to go wrong for you, stems from this misconception of two powers. This widespread societal perception is a microcosm of a macrocosm, reflecting how society inherently perceives a duality where only oneness exists. This understanding aligns with principles found in quantum physics, which points towards everything being fundamentally a degree of oneness. This concept is beautifully articulated in texts like the Bhagavad Gita. At its opening, as Arjuna consults with Krishna, Krishna imparts profound wisdom, emphasizing a state of being that transcends duality. He states, paraphrased, "Those who are wise are the same in pleasure and in pain." This signifies a transcendence of duality itself, an unwavering oneness regardless of external circumstances. The notion that things can go wrong, or that you can be swayed by negative events, originates solely from the illusion of polarity, from the belief that there is an opposing force. Once you transcend this duality, you step into the profound knowing of oneness, where nothing can inherently go wrong. High frequency, the power of elevated awareness. Having transcended the illusion of two powers and understood the singular nature of reality, we can now address what truly constitutes high frequency. This concept is often misunderstood, sometimes mistakenly associated with superficial actions like dietary choices or specific fashion styles. These external practices do not define frequency. Frequency is an energetic signature that expresses itself in our human lives as a particular degree of awareness. Your frequency is your awareness, It is the fundamental lens through which you perceive reality. This is why, on a single planet, there exist billions of worlds, because there are billions of unique frequencies or levels of awareness. To be in a high frequency is to possess a high level of awareness. It means seeing reality not merely from your limited human eyes, but from a universal or God's eye perspective. This elevated viewpoint allows you to transcend the illusions that bind others. Consider this: anytime reality seems to present resistance, or when events appear to be taking you down a path that feels wrong, remember, all paths ultimately lead to one place, your desired reality. The perceived wrongness or resistance is nothing more than a detour, not a deviation from your ultimate destination, so long as you maintain that destination within your consciousness. There is no true wrong path until you believe you are going wrong. This is because there are no truths in reality other than what your subconscious mind accepts as true. You are the legislator of your reality's laws. When you consciously step into the understanding that something is going wrong, you inadvertently create that wrongness in your experience, without realizing that the detour itself is simply a different route to the same destination, provided your conscious intent remains fixed. To illustrate the uncompromising power of fear, regardless of apparent goodness or spiritual adherence, we turn to an ancient narrative often misinterpreted, the story of Job. This account reveals a profound esoteric truth about the impartial nature of universal law. Job is depicted as a man of immense wealth, a loving family, and deep spiritual devotion. He is described as God-fearing and shunning evil, essentially a paragon of righteousness, doing everything considered right in his time. Yet, despite his profound loyalty and virtuous life, Job experienced unimaginable suffering. His children were killed, his livestock destroyed, and he was afflicted with severe boils, losing nearly everything. This raises a crucial question: why would a loyal, righteous individual endure such calamity? The common exoteric, outer circle interpretation often frames this as a literal bet between God and the devil, a test of loyalty. However, the esoteric, inner circle understanding reveals a deeper truth. This narrative allegorically represents the impersonal energy of universal law. It highlights that consciousness itself is the substance of reality, and universal laws operate impartially, without favoritism or judgment for any individual. As stated in Acts 10:34, God is no respecter of persons, and Isaiah 45:7 reinforces this, saying, I make peace and create calamity. I, the Lord, do all these things. This implies that the universal law of consciousness is the ultimate force, arranging reality based on underlying frequencies, not on human notions of goodness or deservingness in a transactional sense. Here's the critical insight. Despite Job's righteous actions and devout worship, his hidden fear ultimately trumped all his positive deeds. This is crystallized in Job 3:25, where Job declares, "For what I have greatly feared has come upon me." This single statement is the key to understanding the story. Job's deep-seated, even if subconscious, fear acted as a powerful, attractive field, setting a beacon for the very realities he wished to avoid. When you harbor fear, you are essentially signaling to the universe, "Come get me. Bring me more of this dreaded thing." This truth extends to all aspects of life. Regardless of your diligent meditations, positive affirmations, strict diets, or cleansing fasts, all practices aimed at elevating consciousness and controlling reality. If a core underlying fear persists, it can ultimately override every other effort. If a figure depicted as God's most loyal servant could experience such a profound manifestation of his deepest fear, it underscores the universal, impartial power of this energetic principle. Fear, as a dominant frequency, creates its own reality. Let us revisit the profound statement, "Fear is faith." This isn't merely a philosophical assertion, it's an energetic truth. So long as fear persists within your being, you will invariably experience the realities you dread, attract the circumstances you worry about, and pull into your orbit the very things that cause anxiety. This is precisely because fear is, at its core, a form of faith. To grasp this, we must understand faith outside of common religious interpretations. Faith, etymologically stemming from the Latin word fides, signifies confidence and conviction. These two words, conviction and confidence, are among the most powerful in the realm of manifestation. Without conviction, there is no true manifestation. Confidence is the elixir, the very essence of manifestation. Confidence and conviction are not just mental states. They are expressions of strength within your energetic field. They emit a very strong, clear frequency. The stronger and clearer this frequency, the greater its potential to solidify into your physical reality. This is why true faith, rooted in conviction, unfailingly attracts. It transcends the common understanding of trust, as trust inherently carries the potential for doubt, and doubt, ultimately, corrupts and alters the very frequency of the reality you are striving to materialize. Therefore, true faith is unwavering conviction. How does one change their vibration? Your vibration is consistently determined by one word: concentration. Concentration is focus. When you find yourself in a state of fear, it is because you are focusing on something that either reflects your fear, resonates with your fear, or implies your fear. For instance, in the context of relationships, if you desire a loving partner but are plagued by worries about potential infidelity or abandonment, you are concentrating on aspects that suggest something to be afraid of. Even before or during the relationship, your focus remains tethered to these potential negative outcomes. To shift this, you must consciously alter your concentration or focus towards aspects of your life where courage already exists. This process requires introspection, as courage doesn't always appear in grand gestures. You already possess courage in various aspects of your life, though your mind might not categorize it as such. This could be as simple as having the courage to take an important test, cross a busy street, or voice an opinion among friends. These seemingly normal actions require a degree of courage, but because they are routine, your mind doesn't typically draw upon that frequency. To build upon this, you must consciously recognize and internalize these small acts of courage to draw from that energetic wellspring. The understanding of courage presented here is not the absence of fear, but rather to act in spite of fear. It is unrealistic to expect never to feel fear, but in instances intertwined with your desired reality, you must cultivate the ability to act, mentally, emotionally, and physically, regardless of feeling that fear. The only way to consistently achieve this is by consciously recalling and calling upon those aspects of your life where you have already exercised courage, no matter how minor they may seem. This consistent practice builds a new neural pathway for fearless action. To truly build upon this courage, there is one essential path: self-trust. Courage, like confidence, can only be cultivated by exchanging it with the currency of self-trust. The challenge many face is a lack of self-trust, often stemming from not following through on their own word. This can be as simple as intending to wake up at a certain time or planning to complete a task by a deadline and then failing to do so. The more consistently you follow through on the commitments you make to yourself, doing the things you know you should do, the more you build self-trust. This accumulated self-trust then becomes a powerful currency, which can be exchanged for confidence, and that confidence, in turn, can be exchanged for the currency of courage, making it far easier to act in the face of fear. If you don't even trust yourself to guide yourself through small commitments, it becomes incredibly difficult to master the greater challenges of reality. This is why self-mastery is a fundamental prerequisite to mastery over reality. It lays the very foundation for controlling your internal state and, consequently, your external world. Stillness and universal identification. the ultimate transmutation. Fear fundamentally originates from the false belief in two powers, an ignorant understanding of reality. When operating from our human self, we will invariably encounter a degree of suffering. To truly transmute fear, or to navigate instances where it arises, you must consciously shift to operating from universal consciousness or infinite intelligence. This is achieved through identification with this higher aspect of being. Two profound principles illuminate this path. The first is found in Psalm 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. The moment fear arises, the very first step is to enter a state of stillness. This could involve simply sitting down, closing your eyes, and allowing the turbulent emotions to settle. It might mean lying quietly, allowing your being to find a state of calm. The essence is this: the only way to genuinely know God or to connect with infinite intelligence is through stillness. Fear, being an evolutionary emotion, triggers an immediate physiological response. Adrenaline surges, cortisol levels rise, and there's an instinctive urge to move, to jitter, to escape. This is the primal self's default reaction to perceived threat. However, to transcend fear, you must consciously move away from this default. By calming yourself down, you then create the space to know God, or to reconnect with that deeper, all-powerful aspect of yourself. Once this stillness is achieved, and you know God, realizing that connection to infinite intelligence, then the second principle comes into play, as stated in Matthew 19:26. With men, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. To reach a state where all things are truly possible, you must first connect with that universal power within, and the gateway to that connection is stillness. Once you attain this stillness and internal knowing, reaffirm the understanding that all paths lead to one place, your desired reality. Nothing can truly go wrong, and things cannot genuinely go left. They may appear to do so, but they will only manifest as such in your experience if you believe them to be. And you will only believe them to be so long as you operate from the limited human perspective and not from the expansive, universal consciousness. To truly be above illusions, transcend duality, and understand that there is only one power in this universe. Step out of fear, which is nothing more than ignorant faith, a powerful, attractive field, regardless of the effort you've been putting in or the good intentions you hold. Your inherent capacity for creation is immense, but it is constantly challenged by the energetic force of fear. This force, born from the illusion of duality and maintained by unconscious conviction, has the power to override your most sincere intentions and dedicated efforts. The journey to conscious reality creation is fundamentally a journey of mastering fear. It is not about a lack of problems in the outer world, but an unwavering inner state. Now, with this understanding, it is time to conquer, overcome, and ultimately destroy fear as a limiting force in your life. This liberation allows you to harness your true creative potential and manifest a reality aligned with your highest intentions.